welcome back to my channel. It is 6:30 on a Saturday morning and I am here putting makeup on because I have a work event today. I thought, let me continue my dating stories. All right, let me see. All right, so about my dating life. Now, I think I told you guys in the last video, I am not one to go for the man who already has kids, and I've already explained why. And you can watch that in my other video. If you haven't, go ahead and watch the first video so you're kind of caught up in what I'm talking about here. But you know, it's just not for me. And usually if I start talking to you, that is one of the initial questions I'm gonna ask you, like, you know, hey, yeah, since I'm in Japan, I usually ask, like, what brings you to Japan and stuff like that. Hey, what brings you to Japan? Next question, you got kids? Like, I mean, it's not that in your face, but I ask it pretty early on. Now, there was this one young man I was talking to. We met on one of these sites, of course. And on my page, I have my Snapchat and Instagram account. So sometime in our conversation, in my conversation with anybody, I would usually tell you, I'm not really, because I'm very inconsistent on Bumble and all of that. So I would tell you, follow me on Instagram or Twitter, and we can talk, like, have a better flow of conversation over there, because those are things that I check often. So they would go ahead and do that, and then we could continue our conversation. So this particular guy, I, told him the same thing. Go ahead, follow me on blah, 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 blah. And he followed me on Instagram, I want to think. Now, my profile is not, how do you call it? It's not private. So if you don't follow me, you can still, like, go ahead and send me a message. Like, even if, like, whatever, you can still see my pictures. You can still go ahead and send me a message on there. And so he followed me, though. And the first picture I see is, like, these 3 beautiful biracial kids. Send me a message on Instagram, and I'm like, all right, got kids? And he says, yeah, I have kids. Are they all by one person? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, do you have a wife? And he was like, it's complicated. I was like, oh my gosh. I'm like, it's never complicated. Whatever you think is complicated, I guarantee you I can uncomplicate it in 1 second. At that point, he was trying to set up a date with me, which would have been fine and good, with me, because, like, I really prefer to meet you in person. I don't do the whole texting thing for a long time. If you text me you want to just text me endlessly, you will lose my interest really quickly. I mean, I just have some decency. Look me in my eyes while you tell me your lies. Come on, man. So he was trying to set up a date with me, which would have been cool, except for the fact that he just dropped the K-bomb on me. So he was like, no, don't judge the situation. He was like, just give me a chance, meet up with me, and I'll explain it to you, and I promise you it's going to make sense. Once he said that, I was like, I didn't listen to my better judgment. I was like, all right, fine. Let's go on a date. Immediately, we sat down. Like, I wasn't trying to do nothing. I was like, all right, you want to go ahead and make me understand the situation that you were like, it's complicated. Like, just give me a chance to explain. Like, I need that explanation now before our food comes. He got married as soon as he got into the military. And he was like, what, 18 when he got into the military? And, I don't know the situation with that. With the military, they start sending you places. And he said eventually it just wasn't working out anymore. And there was some infidelity, but you know how men lie. So I really was not interested in the details of what happened with the relationship. And so he continued explaining it. So I started asking more questions to get, like, clarity on the situation, to really judge if this, like, in the back of my head, I already knew that this wasn't for me. But I was like, all right, let me get clarity here. And so I'm like, all right, how old are your kids? And he's like, all of them are under 10. And the last one is, like, less than a year old at the moment. And I'm like, how do you want me to believe that you're separated, that you've been separated for, like, 2 years, according to him, but you have a kid that's not even a year old yet? And this is his words exactly. Like, just because we're separated doesn't mean I don't still find her attractive. Like, his wife, speaking of his wife. And I was like, all right, sir, good for you. after we had lunch, we decided to go watch a movie. And then he hits me up that night, like, wow, he really had a good time, blah, 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 da, 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 da. And I was like, yeah, I had a good time too. And he was like, do you want to meet the next day? Like, let's go watch, like, are you doing anything the next day? And I wasn't doing anything the next day. And he was like, do you want to go watch a movie? I was like, all right, sure, let's go watch a movie. And we watched the movie, and I came home, and, you know, he continued, like, he was texting me heavy. He was really trying to get to know me and stuff like that. I was like, all right, you know what? This is, like, full disclosure, I would hate if somebody dragged me along like this, but, like, I'm not trying to drag you along. Like, you've explained your situation to me, and it's just not for me. Like, we could be friends. And I told him this. I was like, I've honestly had a good time with you the past 2 days. And we could be friends if you want to, but I cannot tell you that, you know, I would be dating you with an open mind or like with all my heart because of your situation, basically. Because you got kids like that. And he was like, no, you know, I'm sorry, I can't be your friend. And I don't blame him, because if I don't know how his feelings for me, how deep his feelings for me were. But if I'm really feeling you like that and you tell me, you know, let's be friends, I wouldn't do that either. Because, like, eventually you're probably going to get, you know, a girlfriend or a boyfriend or whatever. And as your friend, I'm going to have to be happy for you. And I can't really do that if I really liked you like that. So I don't blame him. But that was the end of that. So that's the first guy with kids. And this next guy, all right, next guy, again, we met on one of these sites. And I didn't realize I hadn't asked him if he had kids until much later. We talked for a short while, which is always good for me. Like I said, I want to meet face to face. So we talked for just a short while, and he started like trying to set up a date with me. And when we were setting up the date, and you know, everything was going so far so good, and I really didn't think to ask the question about kids. And he was maybe like 2 years older than me. I want to believe it's just 2 years older than me. And of course, he is again in some form of the military. And so he's like, all right, there's this place I've looked up online, and, you know, do you mind? I want to come pick you up and stuff like that. I was like, yeah, that's cool. And so the day rolls by. This is at the end of summer, so it's still pretty hot outside. I wear this really beautiful dress and, you know, looking good as I usually do. And especially on a first date, you know, first impressions is really something. Like, yeah, quite all right. You could be an angel on the inside, but first impressions is literally judging a book by its cover. I have to, you know, like what I see, like what I smell, like what I hear before I'm thinking about, you know, reading the book or getting to know you any better. So if I'm going on a first date with you, I'm usually looking really good. And besides going on a date, if I'm going out, period, like, this is not a date, but I'm about to look really, really good. Let me tell you, this dude, I don't have a car, and I either take the train, I take the bus, or I walk literally everywhere I've ever gone since I've been to Japan. And I don't mind doing that. So does 90% of the population. So he comes to pick me up, and his car is dirty. Oh my goodness. Like I said, I don't have a car, but geez Louise, you are coming to meet somebody for the first time and you can't even pick up the trash on the floor, on the passenger seat, which you know I'm gonna get in. And so when I get in the car, and my dress is white or something white-ish, so I'm like, literally, I'm scared to sit down. Like what's on the chair? It does not look inviting at all. So I look at the car and I'm like, oh my God, it's dirt. Like I tell him, I'm like, wow, it's dirty in here. And he was like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't get a chance to clean it before coming to pick you up. In my mind, I didn't say anything after that. But in my mind, I'm like, yeah, this is not like a week's worth of dirt. This is accumulated dirt that even if you clean up, there's still going to be some residual dirt left. So that was really like it was a really bad first impression for me. But either ways, we went out. We went to this really authentic Japanese yakiniku place, which was really cool. And we sat down. We were having a conversation. We went out to Tokyo. So we sat down and we're having a conversation. And things are going good. You know, get the classic get to know you. How long have you been in the military? You know how the conversations go. And, we're talking, and then I'm like, I don't even know how that came up. I'm like, and I think this is exactly what I said. Like, oh, I've probably asked you this already, but do you have any kids? And he's like, yeah. And I'm chewing, and I stopped chewing, and I'm like, are you serious? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, next question. How many kids do you have? And he says, I have 3 kids. I said, okay, are your 3 kids by one woman? And he says, yeah. I'm like, all right, follow-up question again. Are you married? And he says, no, he just finished his divorce. And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry to hear that. And he was like, after that, my demeanor was not the same. And he was like, oh, you wouldn't have come out if you knew that I had kids? And I was honest with him. I was like, yeah, probably not. And he was like, what is the problem with, me having kids? And I was like, oh, there's no problem with it. It's just, and I explained it to him like I've explained it to you guys. It's not like, it's just not for me. Because if I'm trying to have a serious relationship with you, I'm having a serious relationship with all of y'all. And that's that's where the little hiccup comes up. And he says, and I was like, well, right now it doesn't really mean anything to me because I just met you. I don't even know if I want to go out with you again, whatever. And he was like, yeah, that's cool. And so we finished having lunch because we went out during the day. Like I said, I really like going out during the day. So we finished having lunch, and we were gonna have dessert. While we were going to the restaurant, we saw this little ice cream place, and it looked really cool. So after we finished having lunch, we walked to the ice cream place, and we had ice cream there. The next weekend rolls around, and he asks me out again, and he was like, he's been meaning to ask me out on another date, and he says, if you don't want to go, like if the first date just wasn't your cup of tea and you don't want to see me again, I'll totally understand. I was like, nah, that's fine, we could go out. And he said, what was I planning to do this weekend? I said, there was some movie that had come out. I said I was gonna go watch that movie. And he was like, all right, let's get, like, do you mind if I, like, if you were going, like, he asked me, like, was that a date? I said, no, I was just gonna watch it by myself. And he said, do I mind if he joins me or something like that? I was like, all right, that's fine, we could go together. And he says it is actually showing on base. Like, he was trying to, like, ask me, like, do I want to come watch it with him on base? I was like, no, I'm not coming to your base. And so we were gonna meet at a mutual location, like somewhere in the middle. And the day rolls around, so we were gonna go watch it at, like, I wanted an early showtime. He was trying to go, like, in the evenings, but I wanted like a 12 p.m. showtime. And so we set that up, and we were gonna meet at that station at that time. And so the day rolls around, and it's like 10 o'clock in the morning, and I haven't heard from him. Now, it's like an hour away from me. So if I haven't heard from him, and I didn't text him either to find out, like, hey, yo, like, are we still going or what? I just sat quiet, and I was looking at other things, like what I was gonna do if that didn't pull through. And lucky for me, there was Oktoberfest, which I had really wanted to go to, and that was even the last day. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go to Oktoberfest. So it's like 12 o'clock, and I am getting ready to go to Oktoberfest. And then he texts me. Now, mind you, 12 o'clock was when the movie was going to start. So you're not texting me now like, oh, I'm already at the spot. That's not what the text was. I knew that's not what you were texting me. And so he was like, well, I'm sorry, I just got called into work. Can we meet later on today? And I'm like, you're literally texting me when the movie was going to start. I've already made other plans for my today. And so I go to Oktoberfest, and I'm posting stuff on Snapchat, and he comes later that evening. He sends me this long paragraph. He was like, oh my God, I really regret not going out with you today. You look so amazing. I really, like, I want to see you again soon. Like, just let me know. I'm going to make it up to you. I'm going to take you to dinner and, do some nice stuff with you. Let me see. It's a little long. And I was like, all right, cool. And so we set up a dinner appointment for, I think, 2 weekends from then, because the next weekend I had plans already. And the whole time in between that and the last conversation we had and the 2 weeks that was gonna come up, he didn't text me, nothing. I didn't text him either, because I don't know. I just need some level of pursuit. I need some level of pursuit from the man before I show, like, before I'm the one texting you and stuff like that. And I hadn't had that level of pursuit from him. So he didn't text me and I didn't text him either. And the 2 weeks rolls around and I already knew, like, the date wasn't finna happen. That was the last conversation we had. So yeah, that is my adventure with the men with the kids. And since my alarm has let me know that I have 5 minutes to be out of here before I'm late, I am going to go ahead and close off this video. I'm gonna come back and show you guys my final look. Just want to say I want you to go ahead and subscribe to my channel, like this video, watch my other videos, and let me know, is a man having kids a deal breaker for you? Like, at this point in your life, is a man with kids or a kid a deal breaker for you? Go ahead and let me know in the comments down below. Like, subscribe, comment, and see you guys again in my next video. Bye-bye. All right, if you care, this is my final look. And I'm late. Bye-bye.